Alrighty, we're live, and this time I made very sure not to mute myself. Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. Um, thank you so much for joining us. Today is can you believe we're almost 3 weeks into the JavaScript Bootcamp? If you're just tuning in for the first time, we're doing this free JavaScript Bootcamp to learn JavaScript algorithms and data structures. Hello, the Nueva Orleans. Hi, good to see you from New Orleans. I'm so excited to see everybody. Just to catch you up on where we are and what we're doing today. So, yesterday we started off with, and let me just scroll up. I hope everybody can see my screen. Let me just double check. Yes, I can. So we started up the regular expressions module. We went through about just under 50% of it. And the homework was to do the rest of it. If you didn't get around to doing all of it, don't worry, there's time. Please ask each other for help in the forums. My assistant will put up links to the forums and where you also find the Discord link if that's more your thing. And so we should be able to use regular expressions as of today. Again, don't worry if you didn't finish all of it, or if you're just catching up, that's also wonderful as well. So that's regular expressions. Now let's move on to what we'll be doing today. Now, let me just move down here. Yes, if my assistant could please drop the free code camp link into the chat as well, that would be wonderful. Yes, excellent. Thank you. So today we're going to be doing our first project. So in order to get the free code camp qualification, we're going to need to do 5 projects in JavaScript. So we'll be able to get our certificate if we finish all 5 of these. So in order to do this, I will be solving the project here live on stream, but I want to outline a couple of caveats. First of all, my solution that I'm about to do is not going to be the best one. That's not me saying that I'm going to do a bad job of it. I'm going to do the best I can. But I want to be very clear in saying that just because your solution might look different from mine does not mean that your solution is wrong. It just means that the solution that I made is different from yours, and that's totally fine. If you have any questions, as long as they're related to the palindrome checker that we're about to do, I'll be able to answer them live. And if not, if you've got other questions, depending on how much time we have, we'll also do a Q&A at the end where we'll cover anything else we might have missed. So let's do our first project. I'm excited. Ooh, it's 4 a.m. in New Zealand. I'm sorry, please. This is recorded. Feel free to catch up when you can and get plenty of rest after this, I hope. Let's do the palindrome checker. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to read this together. I'm going to propose a solution. Then I'm going to outline my my thought process, and I'm going to outline my thought process. I'm going to resolve this as we go, and I'm going to explain how I do it as I go. So my hair looks amazing. Thank you. Got a question here. I kind of fell back a bit, and the video recordings from last week are not available to rewatch. If you go to the YouTube channel for Class Central, let me see where that is. So if you go to classcentral.com, you should find all of the links to the YouTube recordings. They should all be there. If you're doing them from Twitch, they'll stay for about 2 weeks. So it makes more sense to go through to them from YouTube. Next, is my screen blurry? I'm streaming directly as I do always. It could be that your quality is set to be lower. Maybe you'll need to go into your Twitch or YouTube settings and set it to be higher. The challenge. Let me put the challenge. Where's the challenge? I'll put the challenge directly into the chat. We've got a question. Why aren't we doing debugging today? The objective for today and tomorrow is to do the projects. So the event schedule you will find in the Class Central website for the boot camp. We'll start on Monday, I believe, with debugging. Cool. Okay. Now let's read through this together and we'll go step by step. So our objective is we've got a function here, palindrome string, that currently returns true, and we're calling palindrome with the parameter I. Now, let me just put the chat here so I can keep an eye on it and I don't miss anything none of the nice things y'all are saying. So, a palindrome is a word or sentence that's spelled the same way both forward and backward, ignoring punctuation, case, and spacing. We need to return true if the given string is a palindrome. Otherwise, return false. You'll need to remove all non-alphanumeric characters, punctuation, spaces, and symbols, and turn everything into the same case, lower or uppercase, in order to check for palindromes. We'll pass strings with varying formats such as race car with capital R and C, race space car with all caps, amongst others. We'll also pass strings with special symbols such as this here, and this here, which I cannot read. I see somebody here asking, tell me about the bootcamp. This is a free bootcamp for folks to learn JavaScript. We're currently in our 3rd week, but you can enroll with and catch up with all of the materials through this link here that's been pasted into the chat. Cool. So here's the other thing that we need to know. Before we look at how we're going to do this, we've also, if we scroll down just a bit, we can see here what we can expect that's going to be tested. Palindrome I should return a Boolean. So we know it should return either true or false. Next, we say palindrome I should return true. Now, okay, palindrome underscore I should also return true. Palindrome race car should return true. Jefferson asks, this is the project that we're going to do today? Yes, we're doing the project together today. Palindrome, a man, a plane, a canal, Panama should return true. Palindrome, never odd or even should return true. Palindrome, nope, and so on and so forth. So just to clarify, so a palindrome is a word or sentence. Let me just go by this step by step. A palindrome is a word or sentence that's been spelled the same way both forward and backward. It ignores punctuation, case, and spacing. We'll need to remove all non-alphanumeric characters and turn everything into the same case. This, to me, sounds like steps we need to follow. Just take a quick sip of water here. So I'm actually going to leave little comments for myself in order to break this problem down into smaller parts that I can then focus on and implement accordingly. So first one, before I start doing anything, I need to remove all non-alphanumeric characters. Alphanumeric characters in this case being either letters or numbers. So I'll do that first. Remove, I'm just going to leave a comment for myself and break it down into tasks. Remove non-alphanumeric characters. Next, turn everything into the same case. Now, I'm going to go with lowercase. Make string lowercase. Next, now I'm going to decide how I'm going to check if a string is a palindrome. And let's take a look at this again, definition again. A palindrome is a word or sentence that's spelled the same way, both forward and backwards. So I'm just going to write down for myself a couple of examples of palindromes. For example, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 6 number ones is a palindrome. The name Hannah is a palindrome. Let's see what else is a palindrome. Sumi asks, where can we find palindromes? What we're going to do here is just come up with a few examples for ourselves. Again, a palindrome is a word that's spelled the same way, either backwards or forwards. For example, tenet is indeed a palindrome. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I don't know this word. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Neuquin? No, my German speaker wants to say Neuquin, but I don't think that's true. Taco cat, really? Yeah, taco cat. Okay, that's a good couple of examples. Ooh, Anna. Okay, let's go with Anna. All right. Now we've got a couple of examples. These are palindromes. Let's next go with these are not palindromes. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's an example of something that's not a palindrome. My name is not a palindrome. JavaScript is not a palindrome. See, what else is not a palindrome? I mean, so many things. Earphones is not a palindrome. Palindrome is not a palindrome. Geraldine is not a palindrome. These are not palindromes. So what I can tell about a palindrome is that, again, you can spell it the same way both forward and backward. So what this is telling me is that I can take this string and flip it around or reverse it, and it should be the same. So if I take Hannah, make it all lowercase, and reverse it, it should still be Hannah. Tenet, I should be able to reverse it, and it should still be tenet. I can't pronounce this. Neukven should be reversed, and it should spell Neukven. Taco cat should be different. But if I were to reverse, for example, JavaScript, I would get EPIRCSAVAJ. If I were to reverse Ramon, I would get Nomar. SENOHPRAE. I have no idea if if I'm doing this correctly. So now I know. So this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to resolve it. I'm going to reverse the string, compare the return, return the comparison of reversed string equals to cleaned, what is it? Lowercase cleaned up string. So let's take each of these, and what I'm going to do for myself is define a function. So const cleaned up string, cleaned up str. It's going to be call it remove. Let's call it string with alpha numeric. So I'm going to say, I will define a function here called string with alpha numeric that will take the original string and return that same string, but without the non-alphanumeric characters. That's step 1. Step 2, take the string lowercase, cleaned lowercase str. We're going to call a new function that, again, we're going to define in a bit, lowercase str. And we're going to pass to it not str, but cleaned up str. Right? Then we're going to reverse the string. Same thing. I'm just going to const reversed str equals. Oh, wait a minute. Let's call this something else, because this is the same as this. My bad. Let's call this string lowercase. Yeah, that makes more sense. Let's be consistent. String reversed, and we're going to go with lowercase str. So first step, cleaned up. We first clean it up with this function. We will then lowercase it with this function, and we will reverse it with this function. S is asking, can't we use 2 lowercase? And yes, we can. And we're going to do that. But first, I'm just documenting for myself what it is that I expect with having functions. I like having lots of small functions for myself that help sorry, I like to have lots of small functions for myself that allow me to um, really like hone down for each part what it is that I want to do. This is the way I like to approach them, but of course you don't have to. How am I able to type so fast? I'm sorry if I'm typing too fast. I'm going to slow down a little bit. So let's go over this once more. First, I'm going to have a function that removes a non-alpha with only alphanumeric characters. Then I'm going to have a function that converts a string to lowercase. And then I'm going to have a function that reverses the string. Finally, I'm going to return that comparison. So I'm going to return lowercase case str is equals to, remember we learned comparisons before, reversed str. So this is, I like to think of it as a blueprint for what we're going to do. First, again, remove non-alphanumeric, make the string lowercase, reverse that string, and then compare the lowercase cleaned up string with the reversed string. If they're equal, it means it's a palindrome. If they're not equal, then it's not a palindrome. Have a little sip of water. So next, we're going to, I like to just define each of these functions. We're just going to implement them one by one. Right now, I don't care what palindrome does. Right now, I'm just worried about how to implement string with only alphanumeric characters. So we'll define function string with only alpha. Oh, sorry, I'm typing too fast. Let me start again. String with only alphanumeric. It'll take, Bello says very, very well. Currently putting pseudocodes down. Exactly. So what I'm doing is kind of writing pseudocode. So Mike asks, are you encapsulating stuff? The palindrome function only checks if that's a palindrome, while this string lowercase only transforms the string to lowercase. And yes, this is called encapsulation. Since I need to do several things to a string before I can check if it's a palindrome, I need to first clean it up and turn it into lowercase. I'm making these into reusable functions that I can come back to. Cool. So string with only alphanumeric, it'll take one parameter, which is a string, and it will return a string. And this is where lots of people have been saying stuff about regexes in the chat, and we are indeed going to do that. Now, let me put a link into the chat for a piece of documentation from MDN. And this is for a function that you did see in the homework yesterday called replace. So we can call replace on any string, and it will return that same string, but with these characters replaced. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So we will return string.replace. What we're going to do is replace any non-alphanumeric character with nothing. So, and here's what we're going to do. We're just going to, let me just see here. Yeah. Let me just have a console log here. That does string with only alphanumeric. And we're going to pass to it a string to say hello, comma, world with an exclamation mark. Rudo asks, could you opt to declare these functions within palindrome instead of outside? I guess you could, but I would prefer to do it outside, because for me, these are things that I can reuse outside of the context of a palindrome. Cool. So we want to return hello world here. I'm printing out hello world, and I want to replace the comma and the space and the exclamation mark with nothing. So let's do that. Now, replace takes two parameters. One is either a string or a regex, And the second one is the replacement. So let me just replace takes regex and a replacement string. Siddiq asks, can we add the string inside an array and reverse the array and store in another variable and then compare? Yes, we can. That's one way to do it. That's not the way I'm going to do it. So let's have our regex here. Now, if we remember, so first the regex and then the empty string. So any match of this regex will be replaced with an empty string, meaning that it'll just remove it from the string. So let's do that So let's do that regex first. Now, if we remember yesterday, from yesterday, we want to match anything that's not alphanumeric. So that would be everything from, let's say we wanted to match everything that was alphanumeric first. That would be A to Z and 0 to 9. Those are all characters that are alphanumeric, and we'll replace them with nothing. So let's take a look at the replacement now. We've matched the first E. Why is that? The reason for that is because, first of all, it's case sensitive, as you remember from yesterday. So we need to make this I. Now it's removing the H, which is almost good, but we want to remove all of the instances that match this regex. So we will use the G. Now it's removed all of the alphanumeric characters, which is good, but we want to do the opposite of that. So we want to match everything that is not a, so we'll use the caret. So everything that is not an alphanumeric character will be removed from our string. So we've replaced any non-alphanumeric character from here with an empty string. Now, because it's case sensitive, it's case insensitive, it'll work with letters. Because it's doing the not, it'll match anything that is not an alphanumeric character. Now, Ricky says, very correctly, can't we use \w for that? And this is something that we learned in the regular expressions yesterday. And this is correct. Sorry, not yesterday, in the homework. You see, I believe we can do \uppercase W. And \uppercase W is saying, hey, match anything that is a non-alphanumeric character. So this works. However, not completely. You see, it matches this, almost any non-alphanumeric character, except for one, and that's the underscore. So you see here, I've left an underscore, and it's still there. But that's okay. What we can do, Abhijit asks, any good documentation on regex? Yes, I've actually left a few links in the forum that I would highly recommend for that. Let me give you a link to the forum. So if you go to this group, if you go to this link here, you will find the link to the Class Central forum where I've left some links on regular expressions. So we need to match either a non-alpha, this character class here, or the underscore. Now we catch everything that is a non-alphanumeric character. And what's cool about this is that now I know I don't have to worry anymore about non-alphanumeric characters. That's handled inside here. We've used our regular expressions to say non-alphanumeric characters are replaced with an empty string. So let's add some more. Let's add an @ sign. Let's add a hashtag. Let's add a space. I am happy to be here. Lots of exclamation marks. Here you can see, hello world, I am happy to be here. All in non-alphanumeric characters. Ivan, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, asks, what's G again? G means it's global. So it doesn't match only once, but it matches every instance of a non-alphanumeric character. Thank you for asking that. Cool. So with that done, we can consider this working. Thumbs up. Let's move on to the next one. String lowercased. So we will do the same thing. We'll define a function, string lowercased, and it'll take one parameter, which is a string, and all it does is return the same string, but in lowercase. And we actually saw this last week during ES6 modules. We'll return to, I believe it's called to lowercase. And just to be sure, I will look at the documentation here and pass it to all of you in the chat. A nice MDN link for looking up something with the function to lowercase. So what this function does is return the same string, but in lowercase. And hey, let's test it out. Let's use console log again. String lowercase. And let's pass in hello. I am happy to be here. So it's a bit of a mess of a string, if I'm honest with you, but you can see there, it's returning the same string, but in lowercase. Fantastic. We are 2 parts of the way done. Next, we want to return the same string, but reversed. Omran asks, do we need to delete numbers? No. Remember, we want to remove all non-alphanumeric characters. So that means that we all need to remove any characters that are not numbers. Sorry, that are not. Yes, we need to remove all characters that are neither a number nor a letter. So this regex will match anything that's not a number nor a letter. Thank you for asking. Emmanuel asks, hey, Ramon, no ES6. Good point. We could use arrow functions to do this, and maybe totally fine to do it. I'm just writing these as non-ES6 functions, and that's totally fine. And I am using some ES6 because, for example, I believe that const is an ES6, or at least modern JavaScript construct. I could be wrong. So let's keep going. Next is the string reverse. So we'll do, actually, just for fun, let's make that an arrow function. Const string reversed is equals to, remember arrow functions, first we define in brackets the parameter, str, then arrow inside. Now, we want to reverse that string. Let's, what I'm going to do is loop through the string and but loop backwards. And then I'm going to build out that string in reverse. This is hard to explain. So let's let result is, we'll have a string called result, and this is the string that we're going to return. We'll set that to be an empty string. Next, we're going to use a loop. Now you remember for loops, right? For let I equals. Now, instead of starting at the first character of the string, we're going to actually start at the end of the string. So that's going to be I equals str.length -1. So str.length -1. So that's going to start at the very last character of the string. Then we're going to make sure that I is bigger than or equals to 0. This is going to be the condition under which this loop terminates. So it'll end when we reach the beginning of the string. Now, to go backwards, instead of saying I++, as we usually do, we're going to go I -. That way, we're going to start at the end, and then with each part of the loop, go 1 backwards. Then we're going to set the string to be that same string using compound assignment, I think is the name of the concept. Result plus equals, and then the member of the string at that array, at that index. Then when we're done, we'll return the result. If I could spell correctly, I would say return result. So console.log. Now let's call string reversed hello. Ole. So now I've got a function that can take any string and reverse it. Hello, JavaScripters. It prints out that. So now I've got a function that can take any string and reverse that. Bhavin asks, what does string I do? Have we defined an array? No. Remember from, I believe, JavaScript Basics module, we can also use this accessor to access characters in a string. So we can use this to say, get me the character at that index. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take a second just to go through that. Console log hello, and let's get the character at index 2. That's an L. Get it at index 0, that's an H. You get it at index 4, that's the O. Get it at 5, undefined, because we've gone beyond the bounds of the array. Not the array. See, it happens to me too. Beyond the bounds of the string. Are strings mutable? No, they're not. Great question. Because you see here in line 11, I've actually defined a non-const because I'm changing its value. So I'm actually not changing the string, but I'm telling the string, hey, you are now yourself plus this character. So I'm not mutating the string, I'm changing the value of the variable. And as Leon very correctly says, remember zero-based indexing. Thank you. That means that the first character is at position at index 0. Strings are like arrays of characters. In a sense, you can access them this way. You can also get their length in the same way as we've done in the past. Great questions, everybody. So now that we know that we can clean up the string, now that we know that we can make the string lowercase, now that we know we can reverse the string, all we got to do now is reverse string lowercase is whether it's equals to reversed string. And here's what I'm going to do. Let's say console log. For each function time I call this function, I'm going to use template literals, a little bit of ES6, to say is lowercase str equals to hold on, I forgot this. Use our template literals here. Reversed str. And I forgot to put some nice quote marks around that. So now we're going to see is I equals to I, and then we'll return that. I like using console log a lot, as you can see, just to help me out as I'm developing something. So is I equals to I? Yes. So calling palindrome with I works. Now let's go through all of these and test it. So I'm just going to copy and paste. Is 1111 equals to 1111? Yes. Is Hannah, and notice, check it out, it made it lowercase, which is good, equals to Hannah. Fantastic. I'm just going to copy paste, is Tenet equals to Tenet? Yes. Is, and again, I'm probably saying this wrong, Neukven equals to Neukven. Is Taco Cat is such a cute name. Is Taco Cat equals to Taco Cat? is Anna equals to Anna. So we can see it's already working. Let's try some of these out. Is Ramon equals to Nomar? And in fact, it's a city from Argentina. Oh, cool. Thank you, Brian. So PyMast is asking, and some of you have been saying this in the chat as well. Any preference why you rely on self-crafted functions instead of composing built-in functions to reverse a string? This is a great question, PyMast, and thank you for that. I wanted to do this using the knowledge that we've built purely from the exercises that we've been doing here on Free Code Camp. It is entirely possible to look into the documentation and look up things like string split, array reverse, and array join. And in fact, given we have some time, I'd love to try that out as well. Now, let's keep going with other ones. JavaScript. Oh, whoopsie. There we go. Oh, I removed this. And I forgot a, there we go. Is JavaScript equals to that is false. Is Geraldine equals to enidlareg? False. Now, these are cool, but we've got special exceptions because we need to remove non-alphanumeric characters. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to scroll down and start using some of these examples as well. For example, I with an underscore. Is I equals to I? Notice it removed the underscore because it's a non-alphanumeric character. Let's try out a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. Is a man, a plan, a canal, Panama equals to a man, a plan, a canal, Panama? True. It removed all of the non-alphanumeric characters and made it lowercase and reversed it. This is exciting. I love these. Let's keep dropping these in. Never odd or even equals to never odd or even. True. There we go. Nope should return false. Let's give that a try. Is nope equals to epon? No. False. Let's try almost tolmla. I'm just having fun reading gibberish words. Is almost omla equals to almotsomla? No. Ooh, let's try this one. My age is 0. 0 is ega. I should stop saying gibberish. So my age is 0 equals to my age is 0, 0. True. Ah. So we're just trying a bunch of these. I'm just going to try a couple more. Ah, check it out. It removed all of the non-alphanumeric characters, which leaves me with a bunch of zeros. Cool. Let's take that and run our tests. See how we do. And there we go. We have completed our first project. Pat, pat. Well done. Now, let's take an opportunity to try some of these recommendations from folks and just look up some of these functions. So I'm just going to bring up PyMast's suggestion here to use string.split, array.reverse, and array.join. Let's do just that. Let's check out these functions on MDN. Now, how am I going to do this? Let me just bring up MDN. Sharing a single tab is hard. So bear with me, folks. String split. What I'm going to do here is just explore some possibilities for alternatives that people propose. Again, just because I did it this way does not make it the best way. A lot of folks in the chat are talking about things like performance and that sort of thing, which is more efficient than the other. And when it comes to something like this, for the purposes of our exercise, it's my opinion, not something that we should be stressed with just yet. When we get to the point where we're doing millions and thousands of these a second, then we can explore ways to make this more efficient. But by doing it this way, I've applied here nothing that we haven't seen before, including replace. Replace we saw in the homework. So everything that I did here, we could have done from the knowledge from Free Code Camp, which is, in my opinion, pretty exciting. So let's go into MDN. Do I have it right now? Yes. And let's look at some of these. Let me just make this a little bit bigger, just to look at some ways that we can do this. For example, what does this do? Okay, so what split allows us to do is to split a string and use a specific character as a what is it? A splitting point. So if I were to just look at this one, right? Let me just console log. Can I run this? Ah, nice. So what I can see here, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. What this is doing here is calling string split. And for each of them, it would say, hey, make an array of strings that are split at every space. In fact, if I were to so make a string of splits at every space, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Cool. If we wanted to get all of the letters, we could just split it by nothing and do the same thing. Once we get all the letters, we can take this array of letters and call reverse. Let's look up reverse. Where'd my comment from? Here we go. Array reverse. Reverse. Spell correctly? Yeah. What we can do with array, if we call array.reverse, then we'll get that same array, but in reverse. So we could turn that string into an array of letters, call reverse on that array, and then finally call join. Let's look up array.join. With join, we can then take an array of strings and join them back into a single string. So what this functionality would propose then is, instead of writing our own functions, we could just string.split, array.reverse, and then array.join. So that's one way to do it. Thank you for the recommendations. Let's see. I'm a bit. Let me see what we got. Split, reverse, join. Yeah, folks, that's excellent. Oh, I love that people are putting their suggestions into the chat. That's awesome. I'm not gonna display them because I want to give folks the opportunity to be able to figure it out on their own as well. So let's see. Monica asks, Ramon, thoughts on declaring a series of variables and versus putting them into functions? Okay. Oh no, I lost all my code. Oh dear. Well, I guess I'll just have to make it a little messier. Yeah, so what Monica's asking here is, instead of putting those into variables, what if I had called now I'm gonna call pseudocode here, so bear with me. Cleaned up string, and pass that into to lowercase inside of that, and then reversed. I hope this is what you mean, Monica. Right? And then call that. Oh, hold on. Take this. So call lowercase cleaned up str equals to reversed lowercase cleaned up str. Both are fine. I prefer having lots of lines declaring what I'm doing. Some folks prefer having it this way. It kind of falls to your preference. You also have to think about like what is more legible for folks coming in. So, oh, Control Z redo type. No, I think it's because I went back that I lost all my progress, didn't I? Yeah, no. Control Z isn't going to work, I'm afraid. Am I code golfing or trying to maintain a shared code base? Code golfing in this case means, correct me if I'm wrong, PyMaster, um, doing it with as few characters and keystrokes as possible. No, honestly, that exactly, that depends on how you want to do it. If you're maintaining a shared code base, then I think it makes, yeah, as PyMaster said to the previous question, if you're going to share the code base with lots of people, then I like to make it as legible as possible. If you're going code golfing, then it totally works to have it that way. So here's what I propose. Ooh, look at that. We finished 45 minutes in. Not bad. Now that we've got a solution, now that we had a solution working, do I still have it? I think I can. No, I'm afraid I lost my progress. Oh, how silly of me. But at least this is all recorded on YouTube. So don't worry if you would have liked some more time to take a look at my solution. As I said, it's going to be on YouTube. And I will also, after this, I will post a thread in the forums. Let me just bring up the forums here. Where's the forums? I will post a link on the forum for solutions. Again, folks, if you want some ideas for solutions, or to get the brain moving, or however you want to look at it, use those, but don't feel forced to look in there. This is only if you've finished it and want to see what you did and what other ideas for doing it are. So I'll paste mine in there, and then we can all paste ours as well. What is code golfing? What is code golfing? Yes, great question, Ashley. This is a sort of like entertainment kind of exercise that folks like to do with programming, where they will try and solve something with as few characters as possible, or with as few characters. As few lines of code as possible. So by writing as little code as possible, you can have a solution that just, in my opinion, can look quite difficult to read. So, hope that helps. Let's see if we've got any questions here. Monica asks, lots of variables declared sequentially and then a function only calls the last one. I think your solution used a function for each piece. That's correct. I defined a function for each piece, but again, we can do that in lots of different ways. Yeah. So somebody said that they posted my code in the Discord. Thank you. I'm just going to take that real quick. Hope this looks good. Thank you very much for pasting that in the Discord. If you want to access the Discord, by the way, you'll find it here through the forum. So let's bring my code back. Nice. Okay. So thank you very much. That will bring it in. Yeah. Bhavin asks, how do you remember what block you need to use for each problem in our code? That is a good question. I would just how I did it. I went step by step and extract. I like to extract functionality that I would think, okay, this could be used later on. So I said, okay, we'll do that. Then we'll do this. Then we'll do this. And then we'll do this. Whew. So let's see what else, other questions we got. And I would say now that we are at this point, I can say we're done for today. Now we're going to do some Q&A. Thank you very much. Congratulations on doing your first project. For tomorrow, we're going to be doing our second project, because yes, we're ready to do 2 projects already. Tomorrow, we're going to do the project. Let me bring that up here. just go to JavaScript algorithms and data structures. Debugging, object-oriented, and data structures, expand courses. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the Roman numeral converter. So that's going to be our project tomorrow. We're going to do it the same way we did it today. I'm going to propose a solution and we can discuss other solutions for doing so. So thank you very much. Let's do some Q&A. Catherine asks, Ramon, can you show off / demonstrate your mouse? Looks very fancy. Yeah, sure. This here is a vertical mouse. It's I hold it vertically, so it looks like a wedge of cheese, and I like to hold it like this because it's easier on my wrist. Your mileage may vary, of course. It's called, I can post a link to it in the forum and Discord if anybody's interested. So Sadie asks, what's homework or our stopping point? No homework today, actually. If you want to look ahead at a solution that works for you for the Roman numeral converter, feel free to get started. As I said, tomorrow I'm going to propose my solution. Again, not the best one, but it's going to be one that hopefully unlocks ways to be able to do it. And believe it or not, I'm going to do it the same way I did this one, breaking the problem down, going step by step, sort of putting all of my focus on what is available to me, and based on my knowledge so far, and basing it all on my knowledge. And we're going to use all of our knowledge that we've learned so far in the JavaScript Bootcamp. So what other questions we got? Omran asks, can you explain this regular expression, please? Yeah, totally. Let me bring up the exercise. So let me bring up the exercise. My code is gone, but no concern, because we don't need it. Let me just bring up the chat again so I can get the regular expression. Okay, so we've got a regular expression. Let's const non-alpha numeric regex equals. So let's go with nope, this EI. Yep. Const tester string. I am a string. So let's, just like we did yesterday, const result is equals to non-alphanumeric regex dot test tester string. Let's console log result. So we're checking if this pattern is matched inside this string. What this pattern does, just at face value, is check for non-alphanumeric characters inside a string. So non-alphanumeric characters first covers this here. Let's look this up in MDN. You know what? I'm going to quickly share my window. I think that's going to be easier for everybody. Hi. So share screen. Window. Yes, I believe this is the right one. I hope it's the right window. Yes. Regular expressions. So let's just look up regular expressions and look for flags. No, I don't think it's flags. I think it's, let me just look here. Let me see if it's here. \W. Aha. So special characters and regular expressions. And there we can see this one here, which is the one we're looking for. Let's look at character classes. And here, I highly recommend checking this out, And in the forums and the Discord, you'll find other resources for learning regular expressions. So let's look for this one. This one here matches any character that is not a word character from the basic Latin alphabet. It is equivalent to matching any that is not one of these. And notice, there it is. There's the underscore. So first we're matching anything that is not an alphanumeric character or an underscore. Then we're matching either that or an underscore. First off. Second, we're making sure that this is a global regex, so it can match more than one alphanumeric character. Finally, we're making sure that this is case insensitive. So we're matching any non-alphanumeric character, no matter what, whether it's lowercase or uppercase. So I hope that helps. Sema asks, homework? No homework. Take a look at the Roman numeral converter. and tomorrow we'll tackle it together. Elioskas asks, how about giving us some hints for the next project, Roman numeral converter, just to nudge it in the right way so we may tackle it on our own? Okay, I'll give you a small hint. Break down the number into, so in case you don't know, a Roman numeral is an old way of representing numbers as the ancient Romans did it. For example, here's an example of one. The number 4 is represented as IV. What I would recommend is go backwards. There's my hint. Go backwards. Start from the biggest digit. That is, I believe, M for 1,000, and go backwards. That's how I'm going to do it tomorrow. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for folks. That's how I would do it. That's not the best way to do it necessarily. So, will these projects help us get work? Somebody asked this in the Discord today, whether it's okay to put these up on GitHub. I would say yes. Having a good understanding of algorithms such as this one, being able to resolve issues such as this one, is a good way to be able to determine your problem. This is what we're doing here, is solving problems. We're presented with a challenge, and then we need to solve it. In my opinion, doing these can help you. Some workplaces, when you're applying for a job, will say, hey, can you, oh no, I'm out of water. Some workplaces, when you're interviewing for them, will ask you to please solve a challenge similar to this one. So having experience with some of these, while kind of unfortunate that it's done so in a time pressured way, can be helpful towards those can be helpful towards getting those problem solving skills. So this code itself, no, but having examples of code that show that you can solve problems, in my opinion, can be helpful. Nikki asks, GI or IG is fine, right? Let me go back real quick. So what you're asking is whether I can put these flags in a regex out of order. To that I say yes. Totally fine. As what it's saying is checking which flags it has and then lumping them together to do one thing. Thank you for asking that. Siddiq says you can use match and it will show the output. What a good idea. Thank you. So let's use match. So that's tester string dot match non-alpha numeric regex. Thank you for the suggestion. There you can see it's matching every space and the exclamation point. Cabby asks, does this class take place every day? No, not every day. So it takes, like, we're doing lessons Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have guest sessions, and sometimes we have Saturday socials for office hours and that sort of thing. Please check out the bootcamp here for seeing what events are there. Ooh, I'm a little bit brain fried. So Anthony says the docs are wrong given wasn't matching underscore, right? No, actually it was correct. Let me go back real quick. Thank you for asking, Anthony. See, this is matching any character that is not a word character from the basic Latin alphabet. It's equivalent to matching anything, that's the square brackets, that is not, there's the caret, any of these. So it's matching anything that's not A to Z capital, A to Z lowercase, 0 to 9, or an underscore. So it won't match an underscore. That's why we need to say, hey, match non-alphanumeric characters as well as the underscore. Hope that helps. So another solution to the palindrome. All right. Um, we've got some time. Let's do it using array split, reverse, and join. Okay? Let's do that. Do I need to refresh? Okay, let me refresh real quick. Cool. Let's quickly hash out another one. Yeah? Hope everybody can see my code. Let me just make sure by making the chat a little bit bigger. Ah, yeah, this should be okay. So, string. Okay. Let's do it. And we're gonna make this a lot shorter. Let's const clean string. We're gonna do the same with a replace. So str replace our usual regex. So w or underscore. And I'm just gonna put a couple exclamation points here and some underscores. It needs to be global and lowercase, case insensitive. We're going to replace that with nothing. Oh, actually, clean lowercase. Because yes, we can chain these. So we can say string replace and then to lowercase. Let's console log that. Just let me just put a capital Y here. Let's console log that. Clean lowercase string. Perfect. Now we're going to do the other solution with array reverse. So const split array is equals to str.split, and we're going to split it along empty characters. Let's console log that. Whoopsie. Oh, whoops, it's not str. See, I made a mistake. It's clean lowercase string. Now it's split. Great. Next, let's reverse it. Const reversed array is equals to const reversed array is equals to split array dot reverse. Let's console log that. Whoopsie. There we go. Cool. Now, next we need to turn both of these back into string. Oh, no, I don't. I just need to turn this one back into a string. So const reversed string is equals to reversed array dot join. Console log reversed string. But look, it's got a bunch of commas. That's because the join function, I'm just going to scroll up here. The join function takes one parameter, which is the separator between each member of the array. So we actually need to make the separator an empty string. Otherwise, it will, by default, pass in commas. Good to know. So join with an empty string. There it is reversed. So last thing I need to do is return reversed string is equals to clean lowercase string. And well, it looks almost the same. Let's see. First we remove non-alphanumeric characters and lowercase it. Then we split it up. Then we reverse it. We join it back together. And then we return that comparison. So let's run the tests again. And there we go. Pat. And this time I'm going to save my work. There we go. Nice. Let's see what other questions we got. Thank you, Ramon. Why replace all zeros? Oh, this is the Roman numeral exercise. We don't want that. That's for tomorrow. Spoilers. That wasn't a solution, by the way, so don't worry. Yeah, let's have a string. Const string str is equals to hello world with a 0. Let's replace. Yeah, nice. What we can do is replace Let's try and replace those zeros with a letter O. What we can do is console log str.replace, and first we'll do the regex, which let me use the one that you suggested here, 0 gi, and then we will pass in the replacement string, which will be an empty string, for example. Hell, that didn't quite work, so we can replace it with a letter O. Hello world. That's one way to do it. That helps. Nanji asks, can we continue with the exercises? I've just started the OOP module. Please feel free to. During the bootcamp, our objective is to cover all of the exercises. So if you want to go ahead, feel free. If you're going ahead, please also help me by answering questions in the Discord or the forum. Please, please, please. That would be wonderful. Juan asks, Ramon, can I define functions inside palindrome str? How scope behaves in that case? Good question. Let's give it a try. I've just refreshed the page. So let's try this function. Let's try function lowercase. Lowercase string. Very careful. Because we're inside the scope here, we can still access str. So we don't want to do that. But what we can do is return lowercase string to lowercase. Let's console log lowercase str. Lowercase, my mistake. Lowercase string to lowercase is not a function. Huh. It's not? I'm discovering stuff as we go here, folks. Huh. I guess. I guess not. Lowercase string to lowercase. Is that not what it's called? To lowercase. To lower. Oh, ha. See? I'm so glad that you all saw me do this. Typo. There we go. My bad. You can. Yes. Thank you, Catherine. This happens all the time. Yes. Typo. Yes. So yes, you can. However, let's try and access it from outside. Lowercase is not defined. We can access it inside that function, but not outside. Thank you for asking. Archie asks, in Roman project, will we be using the switch case? You can, and if you find a way to do it, I'd love to see it. Catherine says, breathe, Ramon, you're doing great. Thank you. That's very kind. Femi asks, why is one eye for of one eye not a palindrome? That is a good question. Let me bring back my code. I'm just going to go back to Discord and grab it again. So I'm just going to paste in my code. So this is the same code we've been working with. Let's try it out. One eye for of one eye. There it is. Why is this not a palindrome? Let's see. So it says it's false. Let's use my console log from before. First, str, and it's also console log lowercase str. So this is why. One eye for of one eye backwards is I1 for of I1. So that's why it's the mind playing tricks on you. Okay. The last three questions are on the regex were very difficult. Can you take us through any one of them, please? Absolutely. let's do any of them. Let me do the first one. I want to make sure that we get enough time for everybody's questions, but I think we've got time to do one of the last three. So let me just scroll down here. Reuse patterns using capture groups. So we'll do this one real quick. So here we've got a repeat num with 42, 42, 42. We've got a regex that we need to change, and we're testing for result equals regex.test. So what we can do is using capture groups to capture inside brackets a pattern that we can then reuse later in that regex. So for example, if we wanted to match that this string 42, 42 contains 42 3 times, we could do that. First, we will match that we're matching that we have one or more digits. And from the homework, we know that \d plus, let me change this to be a match. Repeat num.match regex. Result. Log that result. That gives us 42 because it's matching the first 42, which is one or more digits. Cool. Now we can use grouping with this. Now, this won't affect the regex yet. What we're saying is, hey, the match inside these two brackets, save that for me. I'm going to need it. And the needing it comes in 1. So with \1, we're saying, hey, match me the contents of this group. So it's essentially the same as saying this. Right? We're matching more than one digit, more than one digit, more than one digit, each separated by a space. Cool. That's nice. So let's see our exercise. Use capture groups in regex to match a string that consists of only the same number repeated exactly 3 times. And there it is, 1, 2, 3. So that works. Let's run our tests. Aha! So we're not quite there because it says the regex should not match the string 42, 42, 42, 42. And that's because you can see here, it could match it. Let's try with 42, 42, 42, 42. See, it's still matching 3 times, right? But what we want to do is be precise and say exactly 3 times. So what we can do is match a pattern that says start, whoopsie, with our caret, we can say start the regex with and end the regex with exactly 3 instances of this pattern. Start with and end with. Run our tests, and there we go. Pat, pat. Hope that helps, Bhavin. And that'll set you up for the next couple of ones, I'm sure. When are the classes ending? I believe the last one's on the 14th of February. I could be wrong, but mid-February. It's 6 weeks long. So, what else we got? Jess asks, this is not about the palindrome app project, but I would love to know if you could give me a hint about how to calculate probability in this language. Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll do my best, Jess, and I promise mine is not the best solution. But a probability of something is what is the likelihood of something happening, right? Usually in percent. So from 0 to 100 or from 0 to 1, depending on how we want to present it. But let's say it's percentage. So what you would do, let's say like, okay, this is going to be real hard and I apologize in advance. Let's say that we want to calculate the probability that a card in a deck of cards is the 3 of hearts, right? We know that there are 52 cards in a deck of cards. There are 52 cards in a deck of cards. So the chances are 1 out of 52. Let me console log this. And there you go. That's from the probability from 0 to 1. But what if we want to represent this as a percentage? What I would recommend is taking this, so 1.0, turning this into numbers, floating point numbers just in case, and we multiply that by 100. So the probability that a deck, that if I take a deck from a deck of cards, is the 3 of hearts, is 1.9-ish percent. I could be doing this totally wrong, but this is a way that I would calculate probability. I hope that helps. What else we got? Oh, PyMaster says, with string replace all. So if you call replace all, you don't need to use the G flag. Oh, no, wait. I apologize. I should read fully, but the regex needs to have the G flag set to actually replace all occurrences. Thank you for sharing that, PyMaster. What else we got? I see everybody typing capital C. Thank you very much. What other question? Monica says, I'm confused about what it means to repeat. What does it mean if there's at the end? Sorry for all the capture group questions. No worries. Let me see if I understand you correctly. So let me just undo a little bit. Okay. What if? Okay. Let's say we have this string here. 42JS, 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 42. What we can do is define more than one group. So we can do that with \d plus, just like before, space. And then here, we're going to have characters from A to Z plus. Now I've defined two groups, 42 and JS. What I can do is say, let's say that this repeats. Now I've defined two groups. I can refer to them each in the order that I defined them. 42JS, 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 and one more time. 42 and JS. So what I can do here, oh, did I do it too much? I did do it too much. I apologize. There. Yes, I forgot. There. 42JS, 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 42. So what I can do is, in the order that I define these groups, I can refer to them accordingly. So this is the first group, this is the second group. Again, the first group, second group, and that group can be used as many times as we want. Monica asks, first and third question asked, thanks, answered, thanks. When to use space versus, what a great question, Monica. So in case you folks are wondering, what if we wanted to match all the spaces? We could do it with just a space. If we wanted to match all the spaces, we could match all of them. Now, what if, and I don't know how to represent this, but spaces in computers can be a little bit weird. Do you remember when we were doing escaping characters a couple of weeks back? There are different types of spaces. For example, a tab is a space. Now, I can't promise anything, but I believe, let me see, is this a tab technically? No, a tab. Have you ever heard of tabs versus spaces? This is what I'm talking about. A tab is its own special character, represented by \t. I have no idea how to represent that. Because my computer, my browser isn't letting me put in a tab character. But I believe, and I could be wrong, that S, in this case, covers spaces. Actually, why am I talking about this when I could just look it up? Thanks for bearing with me, folks. Let's take a look. Here we go. Matches a single white space character, including space, tab, form feed, line feed, and other Unicode spaces. So there's lots of different types of spaces. And I believe that N and R are like carriage returns. That's a type of space that this wildcard for all kinds of spaces would cover. It's kind of weird. PyMassa asks, is my Discord linked on Twitch? No, the Discord for the bootcamp is linked in the forum. You'll find it here on group.classcentral.com. Please feel free to come by. And folks, if you know the answers to stuff, please feel free to contribute those as well. Awesome. Here's a question. I don't know how to pronounce his username, and I apologize. Ivan, maybe Ivan E. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. In some cases, when creating a password, it doesn't allow you to use 1234. How would I test if a string has that pattern? Good question. Let me go back here. So, what we can do is we want to test any character, and then with the curly braces, define what the minimum should be. We saw this yesterday in the Q&A, and this, I believe, is covered in the homework as well. So if we do 8, this is going to match if a string has 8 characters. And we see 2 matches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? Can I not count? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Yeah. So we've got 8 characters. If we wanted to do 8 or more, we would verify with a comma. This matches a string that has 8 or more characters. Cool. So that's the first project done. Well done, everybody. Let's do another pat just for fun. So tomorrow we will do the Roman numeral project. And on Monday, we will carry on with the exercises. And I believe the next set of exercises will be debugging. Is that right? Yes. On Monday, we will start with debugging. And whoopsie. And you will find we will also have on Thursday a guest session with Feline called How to Read Code. This is going to be on Thursday. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Central European time. So earlier than this, you'll find the time in the Class Central Discord. I highly recommend checking this. It's going to be a great showcase for how to read code. I highly recommend attending. You can enroll in a bootcamp and find all of the times here on classcentral.com. You mean the sequence? Okay, let's give that a try. So you mean the how to match for 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to match for 1, 2, 3, 4, all you got to do is have that 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should match the regular expression. Now, how to have that going up, I don't actually know. Not off the top of my head. Maybe there is a way to do that in regular expressions, but it might require some looking around at character classes. Why am I here? Here. Maybe some of the character classes can help you find out ways to have numbers that go up. Bhavin asks, will we be covering front-end libraries? No, not in this bootcamp. But I'm hoping to do a bootcamp in the future that does the front-end library qualification for Free Code Camp. And that's it, folks. I think with that, we can call it a day. If you've got more questions, don't worry. You can ask them in the forum or on Discord. You'll find those here. And again, very important. Don't worry if you came in halfway through the stream. Everything is being saved and recorded on YouTube. You'll find all of the recordings here in classcentral.com. So with that, I say thank you so much, everybody. And congratulations on making it this far. We are almost halfway through the boot camp. How is that? Time has flied. I still feel like yesterday we started. Anyway, have a good one, everybody. And happy coding. And see you next time.